Life comes at you fast.
Rurouni Kenshin is a Shonen Jump classic from '94, an anime from '96, a tale of swords and souls occasionally retold in kanzenban, anime, live-action film, movie, and stage show format. It's one of the biggest samurai Shonen Jump productions, and the history's important here. Rurouni Kenshin was created by Nobuhiro Watsuki, a longtime mangaka who mentored One Piece's Eiichiro Oda and Shaman King's Hiroyuki Takei. The connections and influences run thick as the stack of criminal DVDs police found in Watsuki's workplace and home. And look, it's not like any of that stuff's in the show. I know that's not the highest bar. It's easy enough to watch, though the anime doesn't really pick up until episode 28. Here's a clip. I think my blood pressure spiked. Between a drawn-out start and icky real-world context, I had a hard time getting into Kenshin. I got there eventually, though, and it all started with the games, which are all in Japanese, I swear. For every path, a hurdle with this series. Fine, I got my running shoes on. Let's jump. The games are mostly stuck on PlayStation hardware, and they come in waves, PS1, PS2, and PSP, so we'll go through them by era. A pair of Kenshin games were released for the PS1. I don't expect a lot from licensed anime stuff on old tech, which is good, because, they're kinda cringe. But they're interesting for highlighting different aspects of the show. Rurouni Kenshin may be a villain of the weak battle shonen, you know, heightening power levels, screaming your signature technique out loud whenever you use it. But it's also a series about community, about exiting an isolated previous existence and rehabilitating oneself among the people. So we've got a fighting game and an RPG. Let's see how they handle. The fighter sucks. No offense. Full offense. It's bad Tekken. Just look at this thing. It's stiff. It's awkward, the roster is tiny, but I'll give it a point. Booting ahead is kind of funny. It's kind of doomed by design. Fighters are best when they've got a colorful cast of interesting characters. A newcomer to the series might think this is representative, but it's not. It's all small-time idiots from the first arc. No bandage man, no nothing. You get rat teeth chunk guy. Think anyone's ever jerked it to him? I don't know. It's not truly irredeemably awful, just hard to talk about. At least you can run up to a downed enemy and sack tap him. That's a winner. Wow! They actually put a couple cool specials in. Okay. RPG time. As you might expect, I could not play this title. It's mostly text, and I cannot read. But it does feature a non-canon plot and a cool little combat system. It's probably one of the better games inherently. Say what you want about turn-based combat being allegedly slow or boring, at least it works across whole generations of games. And it's important to highlight inter-character relations, Rurouni Kenshin at its core. Above all the gag scenes and samurai fetishism is a deeply human series that turns on the fulcrum of various characters and what they teach Kenshin about life. If you're unfamiliar, Kenshin's past is laid out really powerfully in an OVA about his time as Batosai, the Manslayer, effectively the strongest single swordsman of his era. And this past haunts him throughout the series. An RPG, aside from losing the raw fire of action combat, has the best chance to flesh out Kenshin in the medium of games. Good luck ever playing it, though. I think the crossover between Western Rurouni Kenshin enthusiasts and Japanese reading PS1 RPG enjoyers is about 50 people, so, jumping ahead for a sec, I want to talk about the PSP games, or game. They're basically the same. One of them's better. Here it is. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Enormous roster. Weird, cool, fugly, awesome characters, someone for literally everyone. They even got two kinds of Kenshin, the Doomer and Bloomer. Love to see it. Unfortunately, this is a weird licensed, unbalanced fighting game, so my enemy is gigantic. Thankfully, my sword is gigantic. About to turn this man into sashimi, baby! Now this game's awesome, genuinely. It's a 2D fighter and some of its mechanics are kinda schwacked, but the aesthetics are so fine. It's an A+. Like, remember when Street Fighter 3 came out and it was like, damn, that watery sprite animation, damn, and then it went to 4 and it was like, but then you played it and it was colorful and funny and the ink aesthetic put a nice bow on everything. And then 5 comes out and presentation matters, maybe more than it should, but you can really sell something with tight visuals. So for our samurai shonen anime game, we've got cel-shaded aesthetics, win. Heavy ink outlines, win. Cool hit sparks and sword trails, win. Beautiful. Tear-jerking backgrounds, winning, that's it. I'm heading to the game world. I'm going in. But that's just the visuals. Wait till you hear about the meat. Rurouni Kenshin is a silly samurai series. Like, it's not always funny, and its gags don't always land, but it's often unintentionally funny. Like, two dudes will be fighting, and one of the onlookers will have to exposit that samurai can stop people from moving with their scary samurai eyes and spirit. And that skilled samurai can read the hearts of their opponents, so a foe with no emotions can nullify years of samurai training by being fundamentally unreadable. Who knew the samurai could leap 50 feet in the air? Holy shit! It's a campy series full of wild fictions you're forced to take at face value. And that's great for a game. No, it isn't weird that I'm leaping to the top of the screen and juggling my opponent with a sword combo. All samurai could do aerial juggling sword combos! And this is a modern era fighting game, okay? It's not as sharp as the best, but it's loaded with familiar mechanics. Incidentally, samurai could also hit confirm into super, and employed meaty attacks during an opponent's recovery frames, and could strike an aggressive opponent with an invincible reversal. I'm personally against samurai having lowered falling momentum when landing an attack on an enemy's guard. Leads to some nonsense mix-ups. Please nerf? Oh boy, disarm mechanics? No problem, I played Street Fighter 4 Vega, okay? I got you, baby, excuse me? Why is Gintoki in my Rurouni Kenshin game? Of every game present, the PSP fighter does best showcasing the madness, the camp, of Rurouni Kenshin's battle manga origins. Realism is cool, makes for a really incredible OVA anyway, but you know what else is cool? Moving so fast you teleport through your enemy, lighting your sword on fire and incinerating people. A+. I've been informed that there's a mobile game for this series. Is this a joke to you? This is all just a really big prank channel? Is that it? I am gonna kill you. Alright, PS2, the action RPG. Holy shit, dude. You know, lots of great licensed anime games get stuck in Japan with no hope of Western release, like that one Berserk game. It's just such a bizarre feeling, picking something up, thinking, whatever, playing it, and whoops, it's amazing! Rurouni Kenshin, like we established, cares about samurai combat camp and community. This game effectively bridges both concepts in a way that none of the others could. It's part role-playing, having the player wander the streets of Kyoto, helping civilians, acting like the rehabilitated person Kenshin's trying to be, while allowing the player to indulge in vicious samurai combat. Like, don't let me oversell this. It's not the premier action game of the decade, but it's surprisingly complex and enjoyable to master. And let's be real, not a ton of people love fighting games, and even among those that do, how many want to spend hours playing them alone? Admittedly, it's all in Japanese, of course, so you'll have a harder time navigating through than if you just stuck with the fighter, but it's possible. What's notable is the setting. This title picks up at the start of episode 28 of the anime, the beginning of the Kyoto arc, commonly recognized as the best arc in the series and an incredible turning point for the show. See, all the time prior to this, Kenshin's been running away from the past, semi-effectively handling the few problems that do manage to creep into his new life while immersing in a community of fresh faces, learning to live again. His greatest fear is returning to goblin mode, returning to his Batosai or manslayer self. He struggles with genuine bloodlust, something he learned, something that became fundamental to his existence from early childhood onward. But in the Kyoto arc, his past casually strolls into his new life, determined to pull him back. And the central conflict evolves from can Kenshin beat the bad guy to will Kenshin be able to resist becoming a monster. It's written very strongly overall. The relevance of fictionalized national politics in the plot adds extra importance and flavor to many interactions, and the new friends Kenshin met are forced to grapple with the palpable, crushing weight of history, get totally laid out by this shadow from Kenshin's past and told outwardly that they're worthless unless they can become stronger. And Kenshin's pulled into conflict specifically because of his own actions and governmental incompetence. It is necessary that he pick up the blade again. So anyway, feel free to skip to episode 28 and go back later. It's basically the perfect setting for an action RPG, and the team didn't slouch on mechanics, let me tell you. It's incredible breaking through a tough enemy's guard for a combo, dodging and counterattacking. It does such a good job at capturing anime samurai combat. I will say most of the game is combat, and maybe too much of it is weak sauce group killing in a game with iffy crowd control options, so it's not perfect, but the art direction is killer. The environments are simple and clean, like they should be. Shoot, even time passes. I know it's a small thing, but it's clear that details mattered. I want an English patch yesterday, bro, please! There is one other place where you can reliably find Rurouni Kenshin in a video game. Oh god, no. I already covered the Shonen Jump crossover games, and you know, some of them are fun. All of them have something for fans, but they're notable for being the only English games with Rurouni Kenshin content. It's kind of insane. I get that the series allegedly had low sales potential in the West, enormous allegedly there, but it's a truly bizarre way to experience a character. Like, my first exposure was an R4 card with Jump Ultimate Stars. Kenshin was decent, so I played him sometimes. Flash forward to my Jump video and he's there, and more importantly, Makoto Shishio, the big bad of the greatest arc in the series, playable in a 3D anime brawler. Jump Force catches a lot of flack, and understandably so, but there's a reason I sit down and play these games and treat them as kind of playable instead of poo-poo garbage clickbait lmao. These games, for being corporate crossovers, tend to treat the characters respectfully, at least in terms of recreating a drawing in 3D. And other than the odd appearance in an English game, it's so much harder than it should be to access certain foreign media, market realities, questionable origins, whatever. Rurouni Kenshin, regardless of its author, is good as any other shonen, written intelligently, explores meaningful themes and the nature of human conflict well. Granted, it's best just to read the manga and then watch the anime, and that goes for most shows. But games have so much potential, especially nowadays on powerful tech. Who's to say themes and conflicts relevant to any given series couldn't be explored in new and interesting ways through the interactive medium? It's so screwed up that anime stuff is relegated to licensed game schlock, horrible anime fighters, and the rare banger. Playing these games is the eternal reminder that you can't truly escape the past. It's part of who you are and what you are. You can change and grow. You can even render the past null, relinquish its hold on you. But you can't erase those things or pretend they never existed. And it seems like for now, Rurouni Kenshin's stuck in the past. And I mean really, now I can't even watch the show without biting my nails on the edge of my seat, waiting. Like, oh my god. A child! Hey, it's KBash. Huge thanks goes out to my $4 patrons. Check them out. Beautiful. And double special thanks goes to my extra generous patrons who are Adam Welch, Acropolion, Alex, Alpha 42, Arch, Axon 8, Basement Dweller, Bearkeeper, BZ Soul, Ben M, Blake Against the Machine, Boha, Boom Dead, Brios, Brianna Wu, Cal, Can I Cuss on Captain here? Captain Blasted, Captain Wade, Caesar T, Chiefy Boy, Cordit, Chris Bromo, Cody Golden, Couch Moba, Corgi the Lad, Crater, CW Glassworks, Cynical, Daddy Dagon, Dondium, Dakota Storm Jones, Steak, Swaggy David Castillo, Dara, Dakota, Dennis Amaya, Diablo, Dr. Cullen PhD, Dylan Coffee, 8-Bit Elias, Elsa, Aesthetico, Everstone Isle, Fupa Saiyan, Frankenstick, Frisky Nippler, Goose 6112, Gray the Darkest Black, Corey, Gucci Plant, Hatsune Miku's Crack House, Archive, Demon, Game and Station, X-Max, Horn Tiger, Huey. I'm supporting KBash just because I wanted to make this part of the video longer. Ingenious Clown, I punched a sandwich, Irrational, Irradiated Cherries, Dice Kyle, it's not bad, it's time to sue, it's not good, Ivy Ruth Langley, Jacob, James, Jason Lasky, Jaden, Jadaeus, Joke Fraud, Jordan Joyner, Julian My Julian, Keegan Too Cool, Kata Snack, King Kuma, Clock Crated, Crazy Dark Chocolate, Kyle, KZ Excellent, Lady Dentalian, Laundry Mom, Lego Sid, Loathsome Dung Eater, Low Fat Moger, Lucas Boyd, Lucky McSmucky, Magical Madman, Mama Rollin, Mara Ganger, Marcules, Mugio, Maximilian Wolfgang Niver, Mike DeVere, Milky Moo Official, Monochrome Only, Mr. Dodongo, Mr. Whiskey 282, Nito Torpedo, Norian Daridius, Old Burgle, Old Man Cranberry, Only LK, The Plant, Pandemic Cowboy, Pinata, PK Gaming, Popular Hitman, Potato Gaming HD, Prismatic Dan, Fractal and Pals, Quasar McDougal, Quillworth, Quinn, Reasonable Willow, Reggie Rodriguez, Renteca Bond, Ricochet Framed Relay, Rube, Ryan Maury Brooks, Sagitrash, Siren Smells Good, Salty Smasher, Scribe Slendy, Sakai no Award, Shod, Silver Bear 909, God! Sleepy Wabbit, Suckdolager, Space Lizard, Spooky Grimalkin, Squidgid, Squishword, Starbound, Storm Strider, Sublime Cataclysm, Super Sandwich Guy, Chubbington, The Big Bubby, The Salt Knight, Dick Mystic, Drips Heart Timid the Writer, Turtle Play, Travis Edwards, Twiddle Chungus, Vid, Valenris, Venom, Vice Pup, Viewers Like You, Vic, Waposa, Weeb Trash, Waylon, Where Am I Help? Winter Solstice, Win TV, Zanny Tanner, Yashichi, Yeet Kunda, Zachary Lives, Zachary Zanassa, Zane the Impure, Zane Rain the Pure,
Zeradax,
Zed Slayer Gamer,
Zero Zalazar,
Sylvan Ray,
Cyberpunk.
If you'd like to help support the show, unlock new long-form projects, and help me keep improving, check out my Patreon. We got lots more videos in store. Stay tuned for more. KBash out.